Welcome to this video. What is a birth chart? Yeah, we're going to talk about the basics of a birth chart. We're not going to go in depth about what every placement means, but we're just talking about what is a birth chart. You see, we already have Kim Kardashian's open and Kanye West. That is because I am already doing a little research to do the next video or to do a video on them. But a birth chart, what technically, or this is not a birth chart, this is what a chart would look like. You see, a chart is a circle that is divided into 12 sections, and it starts here and then it goes counterclockwise. We do have this line going through, and this line, the AC/DC line, the rising sign and the descendant, you could imagine to be the horizon. So everything up here would be above the horizon and everything down here would be below the horizon. And if, for example, you were born during the day, then your sun would be somewhere up here. And if you were born during the night, then your sun sign would be down here. For example, I was born at 11:15 p.m., which means my sun it's down here in the 5th house. It's below the horizon. It was dark when I was born. So we do have the 1st house, it goes from this direction, and you see here this entire circle, of course, is 360 degrees, and here every house would be 30 degrees. It depends on what system you use. You will see later when we talk about Kim Kardashian, or we're not going to talk about her, but I'm going to use her birth chart, that not every house is exactly 30 degrees. Here you see they're all the same size. I prefer the other system where houses are not the same size. It just resonates more with me. But in the traditional astrology, or in some ways of astrology, there's different ways out there, you would still have that every house has the same size. Now, of course, our birth chart would not be as neat as this. It will be messy. You may have some planets like cornered in one, or like all collective in like one corner. For example, you have it really spread out. The way we see this happens rarely. It happens, oh my gosh, I forgot the exact time. Is it 36,000 years? I think it's something between 12,000 and 36,000 years. So I know that's a very big span, but it does not happen often that the Mars would be in the 1st house and in Aries, and Venus in Taurus and the 2nd house, and all of the planets would be in the house. Imagine, it's not, of course, I don't believe in the Bible, but imagine the world was created, astrology was created, and this would be the 0 point. Like every planet would be in their own sign, in their own houses. And again, it is going counterclockwise. This would be the 1st house, then we have the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and so on, all the way to the 12th houses. We do have the AC/DC connection, the ascendant, the rising sign. This line will show you what was the star sign. You know, those are symbols in the stars. Which was the star sign that was passing the horizon, because the earth is turning, of course, it's turning in this direction. What was the sign that was coming up at the horizon at the exact time of your birth? That would be your rising sign. And then your descendant, what would be the sign that is going underneath the like visible line, the horizon, at the exact time you were born. The rising, just the descendant, would also show you what people you would attract. For example, let's say you actually do have it in Libra, it's possible, then you would often attract many Libra energy people. The IC down here can talk about our early childhood and our privacy, our hidden stuff. It's home, it's connected to home. And the MC is more connected to our public image, especially important, of course, for celebrities. How does the public perceive us? But it's also connected to our career. What do we do in our career? You see, we do have 3 red ones. The red ones are the fire signs. We have the green ones, which would be the earth signs. We do have air, and then blue would be the water signs. And when you were born, of course, you will have all of these planets somewhere at the horizon the exact time you were born. Each house has a different meaning. We're not going to talk about this in this video, but each house symbolizes a different aspect in your life. The first house, for example, can talk about the way people perceive you when they just met you, the way you learn new things, or the way you approach new things. Then we do have this house that can talk about our career, the 10th house. The 5th house can be a house that is talking about children, for example. The 2nd house can talk about our financial assets. Then we got the love house here. And we do have the house of traveling, higher education would be the 9th house. So each of those houses represents something, another area in your life. And you may have a planet in that house or not. However, a house can never be empty because you will always have stars. You will always have a sign in that house that can already determine a little bit how you approach that specific area in your life. And if you do have a planet falling into that house, then of course it would highlight that specific house. Let's say you would have Jupiter. Jupiter can talk about luck and abundance. If you would have Jupiter in the 2nd house, that can talk about getting a lot of money, for example. If you would have Venus can talk about love, but also art and beautiful things. If you would have Venus in the 10th house, that can talk about our profession. That could be highlighting that maybe you're very artistic, or that you are perceived as an artist, or you actually might be an artist. You know, an artist doesn't have to be like worldwide known celebrity, but that could highlight to that. So it is, of course, different. Like each planet will have a different meaning in each house, in each sign, and we have to see the entire combination of everything. But yeah, this is what a birth chart would look like. Not the birth chart, this is the traditional chart. And again, every sign is connected to a house. We can go through them really quick. The first house is the Aries house. You can read it here. And this symbol is the symbol of Aries. It is ruled by Mars. Mars is the ruler of Aries. Then we have Taurus here. Taurus is a Venus sign. This is the symbol of Taurus. It is an earth sign. That is why it is green. And Venus is ruling Taurus. Then the 3rd house is the Gemini house. And it is ruled by Mercury. This is the symbol of Mercury, and this is Gemini. The 4th is ruled by the moon and by it's Cancer, and Cancer is the ruler. The moon is the ruler of Cancer and the 4th house. The 5th house is connected to Leo. Here we do have the Leo symbol. This is the symbol of the sun. The sun is ruling Leo. The sun is ruling the 5th house. The 6th house is another Mercury sign. You see, we have 2 Mercury signs. Actually, all of those planets will have 2 signs except for the sun and the moon, even though not all of them are depicted in here. I'm going to talk about this anyway. So Virgo is the 6th house. The 6th house is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is ruling Gemini and Virgo, the 3rd and the 6th house. Here we have another Venus house. Venus is ruling Taurus, the 2nd, and Libra, which is, of course, the 7th house. Then we do have Pluto. Pluto is ruled Scorpio, the 8th house. Scorpio, this is the symbol of Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Aries as well, but co-ruled by Pluto. Before Pluto was discovered, Aries was the traditional ruler of Pluto, and now the 8th house and Scorpio are actually ruled by both planets. But people nowadays mainly say it is Pluto, but it is absolutely Pluto, but also Mars. Then we do have Sagittarius, the Jupiter placement. it's ruling the 9th house. So this would be the symbol of Sagittarius, and we have Jupiter here. The 10th house, it's Capricorn, and it is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is ruling basically the 10th house and Capricorn, and Saturn is also ruling Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and co-ruled by Saturn, because before Uranus was discovered, Saturn was the traditional ruler of both of them. You see, it is an air sign because it's yellow. Then here we do have Neptune in the 12th house. Neptune is ruling Pisces and the 12th house. However, Pisces is also co-ruled by Jupiter, because before Neptune was found, Jupiter was ruling both. So Jupiter would be the traditional ruler. And we can already see it here. We do have the moon that is ruling only one sign, only Cancer, and the sun is only ruling Leo. Those are the only signs that rule two, that only rule one other sign and house. That is why they are counterparts. We do have the masculine energy and the feminine. And then right next to them, we do see Mercury, the Mercury signs and houses. It's Gemini and Virgo, 3 and 6. Then next to Mercury, we see Venus. The 2 Venus signs are coming in the 2nd and 7th house. Then the 2 Mars signs would be coming after the Venus signs. It is Scorpio and Aries. Then the 2 Jupiter signs are coming after the Mars signs. And then we do have the 2 Saturn signs meeting up, being right next to each other. Another thing I would like to highlight is that you can see it. We do have odd houses 1, 3, 5, 7, and the even ones 2, 4, and so on. And the houses that are on the other sides, on the opposite side, are of course also either odd here or even. So the other side must be either odd or even, must be the same. Which also means that we do have 2 masculine sign elements, and the odd ones are masculine. So we do have fire and air are the masculine ones, and then the even ones are the feminine elements, and that would be earth and water. Sorry. Earth and water are the feminine ones. And often the opposite sign is like the complete opposite of what this represent. For example, the first house can be the I house, I am, and this would be the you house. Libra is very much focused on the other person, and Aries is very much focused on themselves, you could say. And so those houses are the polar opposites. As I said, in split twin astrology, this is not about split twins, but yeah, the opposite signs are either both feminine or masculine. And yeah, if you have, that could be a sign of a split twin. However, this is not what this video is about. Then, of course, we do have the complementary signs. We do have the opposite signs, and the complementary, again, would be those 2. Then Mercury, followed by Venus, followed by Mars, followed by Jupiter, and then followed by Saturn. Here, those are the complementary, the monadic twin flame signs, you could say, are always ruled by the same planet. But yes, this is what a chart would look like before we are born. When you are born, it is a bit more messy, as you can see. She's got a lot going on here and not so much going on here, and that's completely fine. You know, it just means that at the time she was born, Sagittarius, this is the symbol of Sagittarius, was just rising. This is the horizon. And Gemini is descending, which means she would attract often people with Gemini energy, most likely. Her sun was in Libra at the time she was born, in the 10th house. So it's not, is it the 10th? No, it's the 11th. See here, you couldn't even tell. But it's right on the cusp. So it's not a surprise that she is famous, because the 10th house can talk about public recognition and the 11th house can talk about networking. So she is seen by many people. This is what this thing exactly could say, for example. And every of the planets we were talking about, you see, are now in a different sign, in a house. And it does depend on what house they are. I'm a bit surprised by this. I mean, she's a Pisces moon. I never would have thought that. I would have thought for it to be more like Leo, because she seems to be a bit proud, but she seems to be very emotional, especially since it's right. Her moon seems to be right on the IC, and it's still in the 3rd house, but it's cusping the 4th house, which means that she would be a very nurturing person, to be honest. So again, this is what a birth chart would look like. A birth chart would be the frozen image of the skies the minute you were born, the second you were born, you could say, and then you will just see it in here. And you can also tell that not every house is the 30 degree like we saw in the other image. You can see it with this line. They're not completely straight up. They're a little bit more tilted to the side, and that has to do with the place you were born. I don't know mathematically why those houses are bigger, but I just noted that for me it would make more sense to apply this technique, the bigger house, or like the different size of houses, because then otherwise many things would be in other house placements for me, and then it wouldn't make sense. But again, this would be a birth chart. All of these planets are in a sign, in a house, and they are connected to other signs. And planets, they form connections, and some of them are more harmonious than others. They can have, for example, this would be a sextile. A sextile would mean that those planets are approximately 60 degrees away. You see those little lines here, those are the degree. The entire circle of course has 360 degrees, and in opposition, that would be two planets that always have influence on another. A trine is the most harmonious way. That's when things are approximately 120 degrees apart. And then there could be squares when they're approximately 90 degrees apart. A square, you can say, is some kind of karma that needs to be overcome. With this, for example, she may have had to learn to really get to know people she loves and to see them for who they are, and not to put them like on pedestals or wearing rose-colored glasses. That could be like an issue for her to learn in this life. So yes, this is what a birth chart is, and I hope this helped you. If it did, it's just basic, but I just wanted to talk about it because I do go in depth in my reading. So I wanted to give you like a little 101 so that you could understand what I am talking about in my videos. I hope it helped, and I wish you all the best. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe, and to hit the bell icon, of course, and check out my content. And if you subscribe, then you will have this video about Kim Kardashian and Kanye West coming up. If it's already up, go watch it. Have fun. Bye bye.